we are looking towards the post-2015 era.
Picture yourself in 2015, last quarter, when you think how you will set your ambitions.
The 2015 unambitious, I would call it, unambitious target, Millennium Development Goal, of reversing the incidence of TB has been achieved a decade ago or so. Compared to 1990, the mortality from tuberculosis was reduced by some 41% and will be probably halved, 50% reduction by 2015. And at the same time, there is a lot of suffering, with 1.4 million people dying, with 8.7 million people getting affected by TB every year. And I didn't mention there with MDR TB that is progressing too slowly, etc. And it is essential, therefore, that we include TB in the post-2015 global development agenda.
Now, the Stop TB strategy is not new. It's more than half a decade. And we still have a problem that every third case of tuberculosis is still missing. We now need to go out if those who cannot come are to be approached.
These are now the regional mortality rates. So again, the black dashed line is showing the target level, and here there are two regions that have already met the target, the Americas and the Western Pacific. There are two that look like they're on track, Eastern Mediterranean and Southeast Asia, and then there are two regions that are not on track. So Africa again, but also the European region.
We still have 1,000 people dying in India every day. We still have every child dying every 5 minutes in India every day. So for me, I cannot settle, I cannot sit back. The fight has to go on. It's something that you need to look forward to, and we need to be able to say that. But asking for 50% is not enough.
Over the last decade, China has done a lot of progress by halving the prevalence of TB by over 50% and by decreasing mortality of TB by almost 80%. But it also should be noted that during the same time frame, the countries have witnessed an enormous economic growth that everybody is aware of, that of course had a relationship with the improvement in TB control.
Choose between a bus ticket or paying a smear microscopy. Choose between basic needs or purchase TB drugs. We think this is not ethical. Many governments are still reluctant to face the obvious. TB is not just a public health issue. It's a social problem.
Universal access to all TB patients, and that is with a specific goal for early diagnosis of all TB cases and early treatment.
However, the point about universal coverage is that you still need to find and target the most vulnerable in society. And my concern with the discourse on universal coverage often is that it seems like a one-size-fits-all approach.
So first of all, universal health coverage and a regulatory framework for case notification, because both of those things could help to address this persistent problem of underreporting and underdiagnosis, and why we always see this big gap between notifications and estimated incidence.
But we must advocate and we must push ministers of health to be able to produce those policies that then will allow us to achieve more.
There are big funding shortfalls, and if there's an even more ambitious agenda beyond 2015, then clearly more funding is going to be required. And then third, as I've just shown with the development pipelines, it's going to be very important to realize the full potential of the tests or the new tools that have recently emerged, and also the ones that are still in the development pipeline, so that there's more rapid diagnosis, better treatment, and also TB prevention.
Without new tools, as you saw, we are very unlikely to go down at the speed that will take us to 0 deaths and 0 cases at a certain point in history of tuberculosis.